What's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show, your 24-hour day back from the break. Remember, you all can follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports podcast by going on Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. That way, you'll be notified whenever the KBR Sports podcast is streaming live. And make sure you also follow the KBR Sports Twitter page at KBR_sports for the live links and show topics are tweeted prior to every single show. And don't forget also that you can like and comment on the KBR Sports podcast using each of those different mediums in order to stay up to date on anything KBR Sports and to give your thoughts and opinions on any KBR Sports show topic that may be discussed live during the show. All right, so one of the most recognized and well-known fathers in sports today is Lavar Ball. But at this point, it seems have things with Lavar Ball's antics reached a head, because here's just a little timeline of Lavar Ball's most recent. Sorry, we're watching the Warriors and Pistons game, and it seems like Quincy Acey. Was that Quincy Acey?
No, come on, man. No, you NBA player. Anthony Tolliver.
Who?
Anthony Tolliver.
Oh, I couldn't see. I just saw a bald head.
I know you players, man.
Second, man. But Kevin Durant. It seemed like Kevin Durant was coming down shooting. He what did he do? You land on him or?
No, he touched him.
He touched him. And getting back to Lavar Ball. Essentially, Lavar Ball. Most recently, he withdrew his son LiAngelo Ball from UCLA, and essentially citing the fact that he didn't want LiAngelo to be sitting out without playing basketball and not without knowing how long he was going to remain suspended for. That was the main impetus of him removing his son from UCLA, and then him deciding to take the route of enlisting Harrison Gaines, who was also Lonzo Ball's agent, as LiAngelo and LaMelo Ball's agent, so that then the two younger brothers can go and attempt to play basketball overseas. This is what Lavar had to say. I want them to go somewhere where they will play them together at the same time. The priorities for the boys to play on the same team. Lavar has made it no secret he wants both players to be playing on the Los Angeles Lakers, so that's obviously public knowledge. He already has his older son Lonzo Ball on that team, and because of a lot of Lavar's antics, especially in his criticism of the team most recently, where he's been cited as criticizing head coach Luke Walton, referring to him as soft, and saying that he doesn't know how to play Lonzo, and he's criticized the amount of minutes he's played Lonzo, particularly in the fourth quarter, where now the Lakers have been forced to reinforce a rule that the media members cannot conduct interviews in the family waiting area, and that the people such as family members are not allowed on the court without credentials following the game. Luke Walton had this to say in reply to Lavar Ball's just overall stream of comments in regards to the Lakers coaching staff. He said, "We don't take parents' opinions into our coaching decisions and how we're trying to grow as a group. The relationship with Lonzo means a lot to me, so I stay in constant contact with him and how he's doing. But as far as other people's thoughts on what we should do, I don't concern myself with those." So, Nigel, what do you think about Lavar Ball's overall, just antics at this point? Do you think they've hit a head, or what do you think about them at this point? Do you think he needs to stop? Do you have any issue with them?
Nope. Because you know why?
Why?
You know what? When I don't enjoy something and I don't care about something, I don't pay attention to it. What do I care? I don't care about Lavar Ball. I don't pay attention to him. So honestly, to me, I have no idea what his antics are doing. I know you just write him off, but I don't know the feel of everything. I should be asking you that, because I know he made some comments about the Lakers and how he's saying that they were raggedy or something, and Lavar was upset with he's never been used to losing them this much and stuff like that. So I should be asking you, how do you feel about? He's deals with the Lakers a ton.
I feel as though at some point Lavar Ball has to take his own advice and stay in his own lane.
Also, should I step back and say, has he toned down since the whole? I remember at college he was it was nonstop. It was like Lavar 24/7. Has it toned down since then?
It's toned down, but in a weird way. It's toned down to the sense that he's not at the forefront all the time, but the issue is that he still is the center focus of so much of what goes on and so much of his sons. He's such a background umbrella for everything that's going on with his sons, that it's you can't just think of everything that happens with the sons, like LiAngelo not playing in UCLA no more. Yeah. You don't ever know, was that LiAngelo's decision? He's 18 years old. He can make his own choices. Yeah. You don't know if that's LiAngelo's decision or if that's his father's decision. You just put him out of one of the most prestigious universities in the country. Yeah. And whether that's your own decision or LiAngelo's decision, that's one of those things that, because LaVar Ball has made himself such an imprint in everything that goes on in his son's lives, we don't know if this is literally his own LiAngelo's decision or it's LaVar's decision. Whatever he wants to handle with LaMelo, obviously he's going to do with LaMelo, because LaMelo's a minor. And that's his parent. But in terms of everything that goes on with Lonzo and criticizing the coaches and Lonzo's teammates, it just kind of puts Lonzo in a weird position because how many times can people assume, hey, is this how Lonzo feels or is this just LeVar's feelings? And Lonzo can get wrapped into that. It can become an issue between him and his teammates because it's like he's criticized Julius Randle. LeVar has. LeVar's criticized Julius Randle in times. He's criticized Brandon Ingram in moments. So it's like one of those things that you can't help but just kind of wonder, like, hey, is LeVar affecting how the chemistry between the teammates in regards to how everybody sees Lonzo and what's going on with Lonzo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I mean, I guess that would be the biggest thing is like just the not knowing whose idea it really is. Like, and also I feel like why have them play on the same team all the time? Lonzo and Angelo, or not Lonzo and Angelo, LaMelo and Angelo. It's like, you know, why wouldn't you want them to develop it kind of on their own as well? But in terms of, I mean, outside of that though, I just saw he talked to Joel Embiid last night. I mean, they seemed to be fine. Like, even though, I mean, they were throwing shots at each other before the season started. So I mean, it seems. Do you think it's just like the media's kind of blowing it out of proportion kind of thing, or is LeVar actually just as obnoxious?
I think LeVar knows how to play. I will say he's a very smart marketing guy. He knows how to play the game because he says a lot of stuff publicly, but then in incidents where he has one-on-ones with guys and he has private time with guys, it seems like he dials it back some, and he actually knows how to develop on those personal relationships. Like when LeVar has met certain people in person or whatever, they will say, "Hey, LeVar's not like he's a good guy, he's a cool guy, whatever." But then in the public, in terms of public view, he'll say a lot of boisterous and really outlandish things like that, really out there. But when it comes to his personal connection, he seems a lot more toned back. It just for me is one of those things that throughout this whole, and it's one of those things that him taking LiAngelo out from UCLA, like I said this throughout this whole time, I'm not going to tell somebody how to parent their kid. It's not my kid to tell them how to parent. I mean, if you have 3 kids that end up might have had 3 kids that could have gone to UCLA, kudos to you. You know what I mean? You said it was seeming that way, but when you seems like you're pulling your son out of a school because he has to serve a suspension for a crime he committed, in which he wasn't even forthcoming about the specific details in regards to that whole case. Like I saw the whole interview on, I don't know if it was CNN or MSNBC or whatever it was, but then other reports come out like where LiAngelo sent out his UCLA teammates under the bus saying that things started happening. I started seeing shopping and I jumped in and I started doing the same thing. But when I hear a story come out saying that the kid's card got declined, so he started shoplifting, and he was the one kid that shoplifted from all 3 stores. LiAngelo. And the other UCLA players didn't, but then because he has the platform and he has the voice, he ousts the other 3 guys and makes it seem like they were the ones at the core heart of it. Now, none of us are all there in China, but if the facts do come are as they stand, that LiAngelo was the one guy that shoplifted from all 3 stores, I mean, it's kind of nice if you would have pointed that out in your interview instead of just throwing all the other guys under the bus and making it seem like you were this innocent saint that was tainted by the other guys. And so then your father pulling you out of UCLA because of the fact that you aren't getting a result you want on the basketball court. It's your own doing. It's nobody else's doing. UCLA has the right to suspend you. Like this, LeVar stealing is not a big deal here, but in other countries it is. At least it's not a big deal to the degree of what LiAngelo stole.
Depends on how much you steal.
Yeah, it depends. Exactly, it depends on how much you steal. The degree of stealing is not as much of a for what he stole. The consequences here are.
He stole from high brand places, didn't he?
He did, but he stole like sunglasses. Yeah, like he stole Louis Vuitton sunglasses and whatnot. So.
Place all bag.
I think what I saw was consistent sunglasses. I don't know about the bag or anything, but like to the degree of what you steal is like here, like you were saying, like the degree of what you steal, you can get charged with a felony or a misdemeanor. I believe what he took would have been classified as a misdemeanor here, but you could literally almost cause an international incident in what you did, and it seems like LeVar just doesn't seem to be willing to.
Well, all right. I'm gonna defend. I'm gonna not defend, but I'm gonna defend him. All right,
devil's advocate.
Not even devil's advocate. I'm actually gonna defend him. If you're treating it, if your son is a business, not saying like he doesn't love him or anything, but like he's looked at his son. This is a business opportunity for him. I want to put him in the best position possible. Sitting him out for a season literally does nothing for him. Not even half a season, whatever. It does nothing for him. He doesn't get to play. He doesn't get to prove scouts wrong. Because, I mean, scouts are not high on LiAngelo, first of all. Let's go ahead and say that right now. And it just sits in question of his character. Like, that just stays in the limelight instead of him actually playing. If you're playing well, it kicks that kind of back to the back burner. Who cares that LiAngelo, LiAngelo stole some of the college. Who cares? Cam Newton got jail time. It's not a big deal anymore. If he plays bad, it's still a whole negative. But in LeVar's situation, you don't think he's going to play bad. You think, my son's good. He's going to play good. Those kind of push it to the back burner. If he goes overseas, he kind of just falls out of the limelight. He plays overseas, and if he plays overseas well, cool. He comes over and whatnot. But again, you're LeVar. You're thinking, he's gonna go overseas. He's gonna play well. Boom, you're back in the spotlight. Everything's like, oh, look at Lavar Ball, son's balling out overseas. Boosts his draft stock. Story goes to the back burner again. So I understand why he would do that. Like, it's not. I don't think it's the whole thing of like, I'm not gonna hold my son accountable, but it's like, I'm gonna put my son in the best position possible to succeed.
But the way he's talked about it in public, it seems like he's not holding his son accountable because he's like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's whatever. Like, it is what it is. Like,
public, to be fair, what do you want him to say in public?
What LiAngelo did was wrong. He definitely shouldn't have done that.
Said that.
No, LeVar has not come out and said something along those lines. Like, he has not said something. LeVar's pretty much has been along the lines like LiAngelo knows what he did, all that stuff. He knows what he did and all that, but it's not no big deal. Like, he keeps reiterating the fact it's not a big deal. It is a big deal. Like, he was facing 5 to 10 years in prison possibly in China. So, and then obviously there was from UCLA higher ups, and then obviously the U.S. government to get him out of the shit.
Donald Trump, you can say, not the U.S. government.
No, the U.S. government. Donald Trump is associated with the U.S. government. I'm not saying Donald Trump didn't play a part in it, but actual reports, Donald Trump was not at the sole heart of getting LiAngelo out of it.
I'm just saying what Donald told me. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Oh man. He said he was responsible for getting LiAngelo with no.
What did Donald Trump call the football players for kneeling?
I don't know. I don't listen to negative fake news media, crooked media. I don't listen to them. I'm just saying.
It reminds of
the dying ESPN.
It reminds of
yeah, exactly.
Puns are itches.
Exactly.
I'm just saying, man. But then it also falls in line with how he's also taking he's also taking LaMelo out too. So you essentially,
he's been homeschooled anyway.
He's getting homeschooled, but now you're eliminating any chance of LiAngelo, because I don't know if you can gain eligibility back, because once you go pro and overseas, can you come back? Yeah, you can't. So he's essentially eliminated LaMelo's chances of becoming a pro.
I'm not about that at all.
Why?
I actually approve of that.
Why is that?
That's screw the NCAA.
You said screw NCAA?
I'm dead serious. Like nobody sits here and says the NCAA is a good organization and do best for student athletes. Nobody says that. People say the only way you can go. So you know what? I'm actually a-okay with taking your son. If your son wants to go overseas, I absolutely approve. I wish more people would go overseas or go to the G League instead of going to the NCAA.
Because you feel like the NCAA just uses people?
It's not just you. Well, first of all, that absolutely uses people. That's not.
Because they do get an education. What
do they do? All right.
Well, depending on the caliber of player.
Okay, let me put it to you this way. You're getting an education, but first of all, how many stories do we need to hear about people getting pushed into class? Easy classes where they maintain their GPA. Second of all, those players don't care about their education. A lot of them, I shouldn't say they don't. A lot of them don't care about their education. They just want to, Ben Simmons literally went to play basketball and then stopped going right after that. It's like, there's a lot of players like that who say, I don't. Didn't Josh Rosen come out with comments earlier saying, he wanted to focus more on football than school or something like that? It was hard for him to study both. Yeah, it's like, I mean, sure, some people want to go there for education, but some just I want to play basketball. That's all I want to do. Yeah. So I mean, like, if you want to just do that, and like, if you know for a fact you're gonna be good, like a Marvin Bagley, like a X number, like LaMelo, thinks he's gonna be amazing. Go play in the league. Go play somewhere.
It's just because that's also one of the things that was kind of like the free I gotta write this out, but that was also one of those things that was the free liar for me or the outlier for me, because I was in terms of how this is handled for LaMelo, because it seems like a lot of it, what happens is that people don't do things LeVar's way. LeVar gets upset. He takes his kids out. Then when he takes his kids out, and then he puts them somewhere else where he has more control, or he feels like he can control the scenario more.
The way the high school trend, I want to say
Chino Hills.
Chino Hills. The way that kind of unfolded, that was kind of like, I wasn't a huge fan of that unfolded, but the whole putting him overseas, I actually like that.
Yeah, and that's the thing for me. I just don't like what the message he's sending of how each time, okay, Chino Hills coach, they hired a new coach. This coach didn't get along with LeVar. LeVar didn't like him, and it's even noted on the reality show. LeVar saying that this coach, man, he's trying to do things his own way. He's not doing things the way I'm telling him to do it. And it's like, okay, but he's the coach. You're not the coach. So if you can't have your fingerprints all over everything, so you're just gonna take your kid out of any situation that they're not controlling.
Before we wrap up, how do you feel about him keep constantly saying he wants all of them to play for the Lakers?
I just don't get what delusion he has in his mind. Like, why does he think that the Lakers will want more than one ball kid? Unless the kid is like, unless you got a family that's looking like I don't remember the last family, unless you got Marcus Morris dynamic on the team, in which it would make no sense because one guy is a spotter shooter, the other guy would essentially be he would fill a similar role to Lonzo, but you already have a guy on that team that fills the role that LaMelo would fill.
We'll say this: Chino Hills 3-2 this year.
Chino Hills basketball?
Yeah, not looking too hot.
Hey man, I mean, who knows what they would have been like with LaMelo?
They're
but
probably number one.
It's just one of those things that it's just.
Well, I mean, if you think about me, Melo plays point guard, Lonzo point guard, Leandro plays small forward.
It wouldn't make any sense to put him and Lonzo on the same team.
Sure, why not?
Why?
Why not?
You just said they both play point guard.
But you can play off ball point guard.
You already got Brandon Ingram as your small forward. He's better than
You can get rid of him.
Huh?
You can get rid of him.
All right, y'all, we're gonna go to break. Remember that once you get the break, you can
play small ball forward.
Where the live link will disappear. You can refresh the page after 50 to 60 seconds. The live link will reappear for you guys to tune into. All right, y'all. When we come back, we're gonna be hitting our speed round. We're gonna hit multiple topics as fast as possible. We're gonna hit our speed round right before we do our NFL predictions. Stay tuned, y'all. It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show. Your 24-hour day. I can't believe you just said that. Get rid of Brandon Ingram for Leandro.
I'm just saying.
Oh my god.
You're not getting rid of him just for Leandro Ball.